現在恢復會議。我宣。
Right, we resume the meeting. The result of the nomination, Chairman elected is Mr. Paul J. Vice Chairman Mr. Holden Chow. When members endorse the nomination and election of Chairman and Vice Chairman. The list of membership will be presented to the President for appointment. Next, proposal of Ms. Claudia Mo to seek the House Committee's agreement for asking an urgent oral question at the Council meeting of February the 8th on the incident concerning businessman Mr. Xiao Jianhua reported being seized from Hong Kong and taken to the mainland. I call upon Ms. Claudia Mo to speak first. Madam Chair, this is not to ask about the safety of one particular person. Rather, this is about one country, two systems, and Hong Kong's position as an international financial center being shaken. Some argue that this is a repeat of Mr. Li Bo and Mr. Lam Wing Kei incidents. Now, they are people from the cultural sector, and they are paying a price on what they did. Now, what is even more horrifying is that for Mr. Xiao Jianhua, well, the chairman read it as Qiu. Some said that this is Xiu. I mean, there are different pronunciations regarding Mr. Xiao's surname in Cantonese. Now, this Mr. Xiao Jianhua is no ordinary Chinese national. I'm not even sure whether he's Chinese national. He's on Canadian passport. Some said that he's got the diplomatic immunity, but definitely he's a Hong Kong resident. How did he make his way across the border into China? Some said that he traveled to the mainland in a car at the border. If there are enforcement agents coming to enforce the law in Hong Kong, then that would be detrimental to our status as an international financial center. Some call him Mr. Buffett of mainland China. I don't think it's good enough for us to say that this is only a rumor, and it's not a big deal. If this is a rumor, there would not have been so much report in the international media. All right, do you all agree with the proposal to for Ms. Bo to put an urgent oral question? 1 minute, Mr. Jeremy Tam. Madam Chair, the Civic Party is in support of this. We have heard different reports about Mr. Xiao Jianhua, about his situation. He was taken away from a 6-star hotel in Hong Kong. We are concerned about whether this is another case of mainland agents enforcing the law in Hong Kong. There are reports of involvement of trial elements. Members of the public are very concerned. They are anxious about the situation. From local media, from international media, there are prominent coverages of that. In the light of this, the administration ought to make a response to this and assuage us whether there is any enforcement of the law by mainland agents. Mr. James To. Madam Chair, I think this should be treated with all seriousness. Now, he claimed that he was okay, and I mean, a case was reported to the police. Now, this gentleman claims that he is a Canadian citizen. He's also a permanent resident in Hong Kong. Now, some might say that he's got some endorsement and he's got diplomatic status. Now, we believe that he is a Chinese national. Hong Kong is an international financial center. And this gentleman might have a lot of interests in the mainland. Given the concerns, we ought to follow up on this to find out what the government has done to follow up on this. Mr. Wong Kwok Kin. Madam Chair, given the politicized situation, people may be really making too much out of it. We don't know what this is all about, and they are putting an urgent question. We don't have any objection to questions being raised, but if they use this urgent oral question to jump the queue, then it may not be fair, because we can't see any sense of urgency. We don't know what this is all about. Things are evolving at the present moment. I think we should leave it until things become clearer before we put an urgent question. I don't think we should support this proposal to put an urgent oral question. Dr. N. Cheung, Madam Chair. The DAB is of the view that nobody, no law enforcement agencies outside Hong Kong should be allowed to enforce the law here in Hong Kong. Now, this Mr. Xiao Jianhua's case is different from Lam Wing Kei and Li Bo. Lam Wing Kei was arrested in China for breaching the mainland law, and Li Bo didn't have any exit record, but Mr. Xiao has a clear record of leaving Hong Kong. In one of the newspapers, Mr. Xiao Jianhua made it clear that there is no question of me being abducted to the mainland, and it is known that Mr. Xiao's wife has cancelled the report made to the police. I'm not sure why you're so concerned about it. Mr. Dennis Kwok. Madam Chair, international media and heavyweight media organizations have already expressed concerns. There are diverse stories, but definitely this incident has a detrimental effect on Hong Kong as an international financial center, and the Hong Kong government has the obligation to come forward and explain to us about their understanding and what follow-up action they are taking, what they have taken. If indeed this gentleman has been arrested by the mainland authorities, when will the Hong Kong government be notified under the notification mechanism? They have to come clean on this, and this is to defend our position as an international financial center. Mr. Leung Kwok Hong. Mr. Wong Kwok Kin said that things are evolving. Now, how do we investigate into this? I mean, it doesn't make sense to call upon the Secretary for Development to come along here. Now, we're not sure about the pronunciation of his surname. His wife called the police, and then she cancelled the report. What is ridiculous is that the police refused to have the report cancelled. Probably Mr. Xiao, under the notification mechanism, has been arrested. Once he's arrested, Hong Kong has to be notified. So it's only natural that Hong Kong asks about his situation. Now, you said they were jumping the queue. Now, you better criticize his wife for jumping the queue by calling the police. Right? Your point is clear, Mr. Leung Yu-chung. Madam Chair, there is a sense of urgency here because this is not something of concern to Hong Kong. There are international media that are expressing just as much concern. If you do not clarify the matter, then we're going to get across a negative message. The last thing we want to see is for the issue to fester negatively. The sooner this is clarified, the better. Some members said that things are uncertain. It is because of this uncertainty that the government has to come out and clarify on the matter, because it's no good to speculate on the issue, since there are so many issues involved. Since things are evolving, the sooner this is clarified, the better it would be to forestall all the speculation. Any further members? Mr. Portier? Madam Chair, well, the crux of the matter is not about public interest or public concern. The question is about urgency. There are two blind spots here. I think they are taking the rumors as truth, and I think they are preempting the people who are involved in it. Now, Mr. Claudia Mo said that this is not about the personal safety of an individual. She's talking about one country, two systems, and Hong Kong's status as an international financial center. I can't see how urgent it is. I don't think I can support this proposal. All right, unless there are further members or further comments. Beg your pardon, 1 minute, Ms. Claudia Mo. Obviously, there is a sense of urgency. Hong Kong government's reputation is at stake. Is it the case that there are people who are above the law? Now, this is a businessman, and this is, of course, of concern to us. We are concerned about Mr. Xiao's case. The New York Times, the Financial Times, they reported this case. This has become international news. I think we have to be concerned about our financial status. We have to right the wrong here, and this is a matter of urgency. All right, we put it to the vote. To what we call a division. Ms. Claudia Mo claims a division. The bell will ring for 5 minutes.
Testing. 待決議題呢，就是否同意無盲。
So the question is whether we should we agree with Ms. Claudia Mo's suggestion for her to put an urgent oral question about the businessman Mr. Xia Jianhua. And we're going to have a security panel next Tuesday. However, members vote today, or members are welcome to pursue the matter on that occasion.
現在開
Voting begins. Will members please press the white button which indicates your attendance before you cast your vote.
我宣布
I declare that before I declare the voting is closed, would members please check your votes. If there are no questions, voting is closed. Would Madam Clerk please display the vote count? 22 for, 33 against, no abstention. I declare that the proposal is negatived. There is nothing under AOB. Meetings adjourned.